Okay, so we will be discussing list today and what exactly in list. First of all, what is list? Then again, create, reading the list, updating list, deleting list, CRUD operation, right? And apart from that, how to copy a list and we can join also two lists. So join two lists and then list functions and list methods. So we'll cover this in today's session. Okay, so first thing, what is list? So list, if I talk about list, so list is basically a collection of similar or different data types. Okay, so what I mean by similar or different data types, so I can create a list using square bracket and it can contain either similar type of data or different type of data. For example, first element is 1, second is Python, then something like this. So this is different data and it can be same also like this, right? So this is the definition of list, that it contains similar or different data types. Now, a few important things that we will be going to revise 3 points in list, set, and tuple. First is that the lists are ordered. Second is it is changeable or mutable. And third point is it allows duplicate. So we will be focusing on these 3 points when we will, take up tuple and then when we will be taking up the set. So list is a ordered data set. It is mutable. Mutable means changeable and it allows duplicate elements. And as I said, right, so every variable is a reference variable in Python. So even list variable are reference variable and any change in the list will change the list everywhere, right? So this is about the definition of list. Now let's see how do we create list. So, okay, let's say I want to create a list. So I will define one variable list and then square bracket, inside square bracket, I will be writing down the elements of the list. So 1, 2, 3. And if I'll do print list and also print type of list, and when I'll run this program, current file, and when I'm running this program, it is printing the list and data type of this particular variable, list variable, is shown as class list. So this is how we create list. So this, in this current example, you can see list contains these similar data types, right? Now the list can contain different type of data also, like first is numerical, second is a string, you can see, third is, let's say, float, and then let's say true, none, let's say it contains one more, let's say it contains tuple inside it, 1, 2, 3, something like this. And when you run the program, it will still print the list with different data types. So that's why we say that List is a collection of similar or different data types. Okay. And yeah, so this is how you basically create list. Okay, moving on to the next part. How do you read list? Read the data from list basically. So reading, as we have seen in the string also, so indexing and slicing are still applicable in list, which is that the list, okay, let's take a list with the similar data types. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this. Okay. So here also the index of the list basically starts from 0, then 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the negative index also applies here. That means the last element will be -1, then -2, and so on in this particular direction. Yeah. And same rule applies. Indexing and slicing rule, same. It applies as we have seen in string. Everything is same. Now let's say that I want to print the list element at index 2. Now at index 2, so this is 0th index, this is first index, this is second index. So list element, when I'll print at index 2, it will print 3. And if I'll run this, it is printing 3. So, I mean, it is same as that we have seen in the string. Let's say -2. So -2, minus indexing starts from here, -1, and then -2 is 4. So 4. So this is how you retrieve the elements from list. So right now what we have seen is retrieval of the single element. Okay, so we can retrieve subset of the list also. Again, the same concept applies here. The list is there. The format will be X colon Y colon Z. X basically represent starting index, and element at starting index is included. Y represents ending index, and element in end index at end index is not included, so I'll write it down as excluded. And then Z is a step size or slice step or step size. That means on how many elements you have to step while you are iterating through the list, right? And when it is not mentioned, then the default value is, this is 0. This is string's length, not a string's length, list's length, and step size is 1. This is default value. Okay. So let's say if I'm giving here 2 to 4, so what will happen in this case? It will start from index 2. So starting is 0, 1, 2. It will start printing from 3, and it will go till 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth one is excluded, so it will not take this. So it will start from 0, and the step size will be 1. So 3 and 4 will be the output when I will run this program. See, 3 and 4. And as you can see, right, it is a subset of a list which got printed. So when we are using slice method or when we are doing list slicing, it basically prints another list. Okay. Now, few more examples. So if we want to print the whole list using the slice method, like this we will do, right? That we have seen in the string also. So if I'll do this, it will print the whole list as it is. If I want to reverse the list, what I will do? Colon, colon, minus 1. So when I'll do colon, colon, minus 1, and when I run it, it is basically reversing the list. So these are some of the things that you have to remember on the tip of your finger during the interviews. And next example, let's take the example as list like this, something like this, right? So again, we have seen in this string, right, how to decode these kind of problems. First of all, write down colon and then left hand side, right hand side. If something is missing, then put fill in the blanks. Right hand side 4 is there, and then right hand side one more colon you can put and then fill in the blanks, right? So this becomes X, this becomes Y, and this becomes Z. Now default value of X is 0 that we have seen. Default value of Z is 1. So this particular thing evaluates to this particular expression. So 0, 4, and 1. So we will start from 0th index. I mean, the list will start from here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will go till 4, but fourth element at fourth index will be excluded and step size is 1. So output will be 1, 2, 3, 4 when I'll run this program. So when I'll run this program, it is printing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is about reading of the list. I mean, reading elements from the list or retrieving the elements from the list. Next thing is updating. Updating list values. How do we update list values? Now, when we talk about updating part, strings where we have seen, right, we cannot update any particular, character at, we cannot update at any particular index of a string, right? Because a string was mutable. A string was immutable. That's why we were not able to update it. Whereas list is mutable, so updation can be done here. Okay, now updation. There are few ways in which we can do updation. Let's see that. First way, right? We want to update at particular index. This is the first thing that we will see. Second is we want to update multiple values. Multiple values. And we want to update at the end of the list. And we want to update in between list. Okay. Right. So we are updating at particular index, then between some index we are updating, and then at the end of the list and in between list. These things we will see. Let's see how do you update at particular index. So, okay, so let me take few more examples. Okay, 6. Okay, I'll take 6 elements here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at particular index, let's see how do we update it. So before updating, I'm printing uh, print list before updating is equal to list. Okay, I'm printing list before updating, and then let's say I am updating at index 2. So list at index 2, the element I am updating is 30, let's say. And then I am printing list after updating. List after updating like this. Okay. And when I'll run this program, so what it is supposed to do is that, so this is 0th index, 1 index, and this is the element at second index, 3. So what it will do is that it will replace the value of 3 in the original list to 30. So output should be 1, 2, 30, 4, 5, 6. When I'll run this, see before updating it is showing this, and after update, uh, 30 got updated at index 2. So this is about indexing, updating at particular index, this part. Okay. One second. Uh, I want to add some markers for the topic which I covered through mind map. I'm just seeing the correct one. Task done. Task done. What is the shortcut? Okay, that's fine. I'll figure it out later. Okay, now let's see how do we update multiple values between some of the indexes. So multiple values between indexes. What I mean is that, let's say from 1 to 3, I want to update, let's say values, some random values, 89, 78 I want to update. That means what will happen in this case? 0, 1. It will start updation from this particular element, it will start updation, right? And 1, 2, 3. 3 will not be included element. So these two elements will be updated. These two elements, okay? And these two elements will be replaced by 89 and 78. So when I'll run it, the output will be 189, 78, and then 4 will be there, 4, 5, 6. So if I'll run this, see it has updated the subset of the list. If I'll give more values here, what will happen? It will be added as whatever we are giving. So the values that you want to update, so in the original list, if two elements got selected from the slice, and in the updating line you are giving more than two, then it is acceptable. So you may think that, okay, this particular thing contributes to just two values, so we can update just two values. No, it is not like that. You are just selecting that out of instead of these two values, you can basically update any number of values at this place. Okay, so this is a tricky thing that might confuse you a little bit. So I'm just, covered this example. So in fact, you can give more values here. Let's say something like this if you are giving. So everything will be, let's say I'll give some Python, something like this. So everything will be replaced, I mean, instead of these two elements, and the rest other things will be intact in the list. See, like this, it basically works. Okay, so this is about the multiple values, updating multiple values. Okay, next thing is at the end of the list. We want to update anything at the end of the list. Now, uh, when we want to update anything at the end of the list, we use a method known as append method. So how do we do that? We will use list.append, and let's say 7 I want to append, right? So what will happen in this case? One more element will be updated at the end, 7, like this. And in this case, the size of the list will change. So if I run this program, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like this. So this is how we basically update at the end of the list. And if we want to add new items in between, uh, and let's say uh, we don't want to use this, replacing the multiple values. So we can basically use insert method also. Okay. So let's say if I am using insert and I want to insert at index 0, what 100. So when I'll run this, so in the new list, the element at index 0 will be 100. You can see at index 0, I have inserted 100 as per this particular command, as per this particular method, insert method. So this is how you basically do the updation of the list. Okay. Now, next thing is deleting the list, or I mean the specific, removing specific items, or then deleting the list itself. We'll see that. So deleting may first thing is uh, okay, again deleting at index, particular index, deleting whole list, then deleting a specific item from the list, then uh, deleting last item, let's say, or specific item at any index. And just instead of deleting, just emptying this string, emptying the list. Okay, we'll see these how we'll use these one by one. So deleting at any index. Uh, First thing, for deleting, we will be using del keyword. Okay, instead of this, now I will basically change it to removing. Removing and deleting, let's keep it separate for now. I will tell you why. And this should be removing. Let me keep it as removing, and in the first two, I'm just keeping deleting. Okay. So the first thing we want to see is deleting at any index, right? So the list is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when I'm using the word deleting, what I mean is I will be using the keyword del, and I will be, let's say, in this list, I'm deleting at index 2. So index uh, 2 will be, I mean, the element at index 2 will be deleted. And when I run this program, see, element at index 2 was this, it got deleted from this list, and the remaining list remains intact. The size of the list got changed, right? Now, one more thing to see here. So we are giving index here. That is why square bracket are there. Later on, when we will be using remove function, so instead of square bracket, okay, I'll come to that later on. Let me cover the second part first. It's tricky and sometimes it confuses you if you will be doing some hands-on, right? I'll let you know what I want to discuss here. Okay, next thing is deleting the whole list. Now, in order to delete whole list, you'll just use del list. So once you will do that, it will delete the list, and it will just tell when you will try to output the list, it is basically deleted, or it will just show the class, right? Class list, basically like this. So it basically deletes the whole list. It basically deletes the whole list. Okay. Now, third thing that we want to see is removing a specific item. Okay. So let me keep it here and let me comment this out for now. Now we want to remove the specific item. For that, we will use list dot remove, and I want to remove, let's say, 2. Okay, so when I'll run this program, it will basically remove the item 2 present in the list. Okay. Now, what I want to discuss previously is that if you can see these two things, right? First difference that you can see here is, first difference is, first of all, in the this particular delete, when you are using delete, in this, you are using square bracket, right? Square bracket. So what does square bracket represents? That you are trying to access the index, right? Index accessing. Correct? So when we are using del, we are basically using the square bracket. That means we want to access the index. So it will delete an element at particular index that has been mentioned. Now, when we are using remove, method, it is basically using uh, bracket, normal bracket, circular bracket, or I mean normal bracket, right? What it denotes is that you are giving the element directly, value of the element, giving the element itself. So these are two differences you just have to remember, right? So when you are using delete, here you are using square bracket. When you are using remove, it is basically using circular bracket because it's a method. And method may, when you give the arguments, I mean, this is how you basically access method, right? So just a small difference I wanted to highlight here. Next is, okay, before that, let's say if you want to remove here something which is not present in list, let's say 12, if I'll give, it will give value error when I will try to uh, run the program. See, where it is giving value error saying that X not present in list. Okay, now next thing is removing last element or specific element at any index. Okay, so last element, if you want to remove, let me comment out. I want to remove last element. So there is a method method known as pop method. So if I'll do dot pop like this, it should pop last element 6. See, 6 it has removed. If I'll use couple of times like this, so it will pop the element one by one from the last. First of all, it will remove 6, then remaining list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then again, it will pop 5, then at last 4, because we have used pop 3 times. So finally, when I'll output the list, it will be 1, 2, 3. It's like this, right? So when you want to remove the last element, you use pop method. Okay. Now, uh, here in pop, you can basically give, let's say, 3 also here. Okay. Now, pop may, when you are giving 3, so what it means is that it will basically 0, 1, 2, 3. It will pop the element at third index. Again, here confusion comes, right? Remove may, it basically represents element inside the round bracket, and pop may, it basically represent the index. So these are some of the confusing things. I just wanted to highlight these things so that you can make a note of these things when you practice and when you want to recollect these concepts later on. So pop, inside the pop, what you are giving is the index basically. Okay. And this is how we remove the last element from the list or a specific element at any index using pop. So we have seen, removing. Okay, before that, let me discuss the last point in remove. Deleting, emptying the list. So if you want to just empty the list, so how do you do that? You will just use list dot clear. When you'll use list dot clear and when you'll print this, it will basically print the empty string. Empty string will be represented by list will be represented by this square bracket and then like this. So if I'll run this program, see it is printing the empty list, which is like square bracket starting, square bracket ending. So we have seen in deletion or removing the elements from list, we have seen what we have seen. We have seen del keyword. We have also seen remove method. We have also seen pop method, and we have also seen clear method. Okay, so just remember these four things that we have seen where we want to delete the items from the list. Uh, okay, cool. Now, next thing is copying a list. So how do we basically copy uh, the list basically? So इसमें we will be covering few things. First is by equating. Second is using copy method. Third is using list method. So we'll see these things one by one. Okay, first by equating. So I have a list, this list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me call it as list 1. So by equating means if I do list 2 equal to list 1, so what will happen? So this is a list, let's say this is list 1. List 1 is a reference variable, right? List 1. It is basically pointing to this list containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And when I'm equating this list 2 to list 1, so list 2 will become a variable or reference variable which will point to the object to which list 1 is referencing. So it will point like this. Okay. So what will happen? So any operation that you will do using either list 1 or list 2, it will be reflected in both of these variables, list 1 and list 2. मतलब यहाँ से if you will add something here and then you using, let's say you will do list 1 dot pop, and after that if you'll print list 2, again it will show the popped item, the list with the popped item, because both are basically pointing to the same object. Let's see that. Okay, so list 2 uh, what I am supposed to do, print list 1 or print list 2. So list 2 when I'll print, so it will print same as list 1. Okay, okay, list 2. Now what I wanted to show you is that, let's say I do list 1 dot pop. It will remove the last element, list 1, and after that, okay, before that let me do print list 2, and after popping I'm popping using list 1. Okay, and after popping I'm doing list, I'm again printing list 2. As I'm popping with list 1, it doesn't matter because both will be pointing to same object. So list 2 will also show with the popped element. So when I'll run it, you can see this list 2 is basically the updated list after you have popped the element using list 1 reference variable. So this is how you create copy of the list by equating. Okay. Next thing is copy method. So copy method, okay, this basically uh, this equating से जो whatever we create the list, it basically makes a dependent copy, makes dependent copy of the list. Copy method से if you will create, it will make independent copy of the list. Okay, so let's say you want to create list 2 equal to list 1 dot copy method you are using, and what you will do, you will do list 1 dot pop you are doing, and then you are printing list 2. List 1 and list 2 both let's print. So this pop method here will only reflect in list 1. It will not reflect in list 2 because copy method makes the independent copy of these two lists. I mean the first list. So when I'll run it, you can see the popped method, the effect of the pop method only shows in the list 1. List 2 is still intact because this is the independent copy that you have created using copy method. Another way to make independent copy is using list method. It also makes independent copy. How do you do that? List 2 you want to make, so you will just use list method. This list method, what you can see, or list function basically, not method. List function is basically used in type conversion, right? That you have seen. So we want to apply that on list itself. So if I'll do something like this, list 1, and again when I'll do the same operation, again the same result will come because it also makes an independent copy. So this is how you basically make the copy of lists. Okay, so before we move forward, let's take a 10 minutes break and we'll meet after 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm just starting the counter. Okay, see you in 10 minutes. Hey, welcome back. So we will be seeing how do we join two lists now. So this we can do using concatenation, and then we have extend method, and then using repetition using asterisk, right? Asterisk symbol that we have seen many times before. So let's see these one by one. So first thing is, let's say we have two lists. So list one is 1, comma 2, comma 3. List 2 is 4, comma 5, comma 6. So when you join these lists, let's say list 3 equal to list 1 plus list 2. So what it will do, it will basically concatenate these two lists, and if I run this program, it will print the concatenated list basically. All the elements will be concatenated and it will print the final list. Now, second way is to basically use the extend method. So if list1 dot extend, I'll use list2, and if I'll print both these lists, list1 and list2. So what will happen in this case is list1 will be extended, right? Here what we are telling is that list1 extend list1 and add list2 at the end. So that's why when you have printed list1, it is basically printing the extended list, and list 2 is just the normal list. I mean, the original with the original value. So here only list 1 got extended. And then again, third way is basically the repetition, right? So what we will do basically is, if we'll do list 2 equal to list 1 3, and if I'll do print of list 2, it will be having all these element 1 2 3 three times repeated there, right? 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So this is how we basically join two lists. Okay. Now let's discuss about the list functions and methods. Okay, so let me talk about list methods first. So list methods are append method that we have seen, extend method that also we have seen, insert that also we have seen, remove we have seen, pop, clear, we have seen these two as well. And then there is something known as sort method that we will see in a while. And okay, let me remove it from here. Reverse method is something that we have to see. Sort method is something we have to see. And then count and index method. So these are the four methods. Let's see these methods. So these other list methods we have already seen. Function, list function. So I'll come to that later on. So let's see the reverse method, count, index, and sort. So what does reverse method do basically? So reverse will basically reverse the string as the name suggests, right? So if I'll do print like this, it will reverse the list one itself. So here list one basically gets changed, it mutates. List one is 3 to 1. If you want to reverse the list one without changing the list one element, how do you do that? I have shown you, right? You just have to do list one and then slice method minus minus 1 like this, right? So once you do that, it will basically reverse at this particular line, but list one still remains the same original list, right? Like this. You can see here 1, 2, 3 is still getting printed. So this is about reverse method. Next is sort method. Okay, so what does sort method do? Sort method means, as the name suggests, right? It will sort the list, the elements within the list. Okay. So how do you do that? So for sort, it basically, you have to basically use list one dot sort. Sort, okay, let me take some random items so that you can see the sort happening correctly. Something like this I am taking. Okay. So what will happen in this case? It will basically sort the original list. So list one gets sorted in the ascending order. And if you want to, I mean, by default, it will be ascending order. But if you do reverse equal to true inside it, it will basically sort in the descending order. So this is how the sort method works. So here false, if you'll give, it will be ascending order. So by default, reverse is equal to false, even if you don't mention anything inside it. Okay. So this is list dot sort. There is one more function known as sorted. So I'll just cover that when we will discuss about list, sorted. I mean, the function list functions when I'll cover. Yeah. Now, next is count method. So count method, let's say, what does it basically do is, let's say you want to count any particular element appearing in the list. So list one dot count, if I'll do count of, let's say 2, it will give the answer as 2. And again, here also you can, as in strings you have seen, right? It can accept uh, okay, so it basically, it don't accept any start. So I was referring to the point where you can add the starting and end index, but you cannot do that. So here count just accept one parameter or one argument. Okay, so this is about count. And then we have something known as, okay, before that, if we give something, some value which is not present, so in that case, it will give 0. It will not throw any error. Next is index. So index basically tells the index of any particular, the first index of the particular element coming up. Okay. So here when I'll give 2, so it will find the index of the value 2, which will be 1. So when I'll run this, the output will be 1. Here also you can give the start index. So what does it mean is that you want to find the value 2, index of value 2, starting from index 2 in the list. So 0, 1, 2. So from this, so in this particular list, you have to find the index of 2. So in this particular list, the index of 2 will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The output should be 6 if I run it. So this is how index basically work. And it has, third parameter also you can take. Here if you'll give 4, 0, 1, 2. So in this, it will try to find the value 2. Because of this particular limitation, it will, come out to be the highlighted area. In this highlighted area, it will try to find the index of element 2. It is not present. So it will give value error that 2 is not in the list. Okay. So this is about index method. Next, let's uh, one second. Hmm. Okay. Next, let's talk about string. Sorry, list functions. List functions में first is the len function. Second is max min function. Then we have sum function. Then we have sorted. Then we have tuple function, list function, set function can also be applied, any, all, and reversed. These are some of the functions that we can apply using list. So let's see these one by one. The first one is len function. So len, as you can, make out from the name. So len of list one, and as I said, right, the function may, when you are using function, you give list as the argument of that function. Method may you use the variable name of the list and then do dot something. So after dot, whatever you will write, for example, you write append. So append is a method. So this is the difference between function and method. I mean, just a quick trick to remember, right? So here in this case, it will give the length of this particular list, which is 7. And if you will basically use next function, that is max, so it will give you the max element in this particular list, which is 98. Min will basically give the minimum element in this list, which is 1. And then sum basically will give the summation of all the elements, which will come as 127. And sum, you can have second argument also. So this second argument is something where it will sum up these elements, and then at last it will add the second argument that you are giving. So the output should be 227 in this case. So this is about sum function. Yeah. Then we have something known as tuple, list, and set functions. What we basically mean is that, so tuples, list, and set. So list wala we have already seen, right? When we were uh, copying the list, in that we have seen, right? So list one, if I'll do, so it will create another list, another, independent copy. Now, if you want to convert list into set, so you use set function. So the output will be set. So this is how you basically convert list into set. Here, if we'll use tuple, so the resultant output will be tuple. This is about list, set, and tuple functions. Next is sorted function. So sorted and sort may, I'll just cover it again, once again, sort and sorted again, side by side. So main difference is that, so list dot sort method was there, right? That we have seen. So it do not return anything and it sorts the original list. Whereas sorted, it returns sorted list and it do not sort the original list. What I mean is that, let's say I do print list one dot sort. Okay. And uh, I do list one like this. And same list 2 also. Let me create same list 2 on which I'll use sorted function. So यहाँ पे what I will do is that I'll do print sorted list 2 and then print list 2. Okay. Now you look closely here. What is happening? So list dot sort method we have already seen, right? What it will do, this particular line it will print nothing. And when you will do list one, it will basically sort the original list. Now, if we look second case, sorted function, this particular line will basically print the sorted list. And when you will print list 2, it will be the original list. It will not get sorted. Let's see this by running the program. So when I'll run this program, so first two, so this particular thing, none, what you can see. So it is coming from this particular print statement because list one dot sort, it doesn't print anything. And list one, you can see list one gets sorted here. So yeah, this is the first set of output. Now here you are doing print of print sorted list, right? So it is basically returning the sorted list. And when you are printing the original list, list 2, it is still printing the original list. It does not print the sorted list. So the difference is that when we talk about list dot sort, what it is basically doing, do not return anything that we have seen using the print statement. And it sorts original list, sorts original list. When we are doing sorted, this is a function, sorted function on the list. What it is doing, it returns the sorted list and do not sort original list. Okay, so this is the main difference between sort and sorted, which is again it's been asked a lot of times in the interview. So just remember the difference between sort and sorted. Okay. Now next thing is any. Okay. Uh, let's see what is any. Okay, any, let's take any list as list 1 equal to false, true, true. So any basically when we do print any function is there and list. So when we will run this, it will print true. What it says is that it returns true if any element of the list is true. Any of the given element is true, then it will print true. So you can see there are two elements. If I'll make it as false, it will again be true because any element is true. Yes, one element is true. But if I'll make it as false, now it will return as false. So any element in the list, if it is true, then any function will basically return true. Basically, it is checking if any element is true inside a list. Instead of these Boolean values, if I'll give like this, what will happen? It will again be true because what do you say, any number other than 0 is true, right? If I will give all as 0, 0, 0, in this case, it will return false, right? So if any value is true in the list, it will return true. Now let's see another function which is known as all. So all function basically, what it basically do is returns true if list is empty. And okay, any if list is empty, so in that case also it will be returning false. Now for all, returns true if list is empty, and it also returns if all the elements are true, not just the one. So list one is there, and if I'll do all here, if I'll do print, it will be returning true. So if list is empty, all function returns true, and if all the elements are true in the list, then also it will return true. So it is like all in or nothing. मतलब all elements are true, or if there is nothing in the list, no element is there in the list. In both cases, it returns true. As soon as you'll make one element as false, it will be false. And again, the same thing applies if you will be using like this, because any number other than 0 is true. So in this case, when you will do all, it will return true. So this is basically the difference between all and any. So what is the uh, significance of all and any? So if I talk about all function and any function, so all function is basically represent AND gate, right? AND gate. So AND gate में क्या होता है? If all the inputs are 1, 1, 1, or all the inputs are true, then only the output is true, right? So all represents the AND implementation, and any represents the OR implementation, right? और any में क्या होता है? If any of the value is true, then OR gate का output is true. So this is the significance of all and any function. Cool. Uh, okay. Then we have something known as reversed method, reversed uh, function. So what does it do? So if I do print and यहाँ पे reversed if I'll do, and इसके बाद भी print list one I am doing. If I'll run this program. Okay. So when I will basically do reversed of list, okay, I don't know why it is printing. Okay, reverse iterator, it is printing. Now reversed of list, basically, okay, for that, what you have to do, you have to again make it as you have to basically typecast it as a list. And now if you will run it, so it is basically reversing the list. It basically reverses the list. And it is not mutating the original list. If you can see, the original list remains same. So we have seen two things, right? We have also seen the reverse method, right? We have seen reverse method, reverse list in place, reverse the list, basically the list that you are giving, and then reversed. So it is the difference is same, right? Reverse and reversed difference is something similar to sort and sorted. So reverse may basically it will change the original list. Similarly, sort method also changes the original list, and reversed and sorted, they do not change the original list. So the difference is, similar kind of difference. So just remember, sort versus sorted, what is the difference? Reverse versus reversed, what is the difference? Okay, I think, yeah, so that's pretty much about the list. I think we have, covered list method, list function, everything we have created for the list. Now tomorrow we will start tuple. I wanted to start tuple today itself, but 3 to 4 people have, separately messaged me that they will not be able to join the class today. Few of the people will join tomorrow. So let's start tuple tomorrow in the tomorrow's class, and we will have Mentimeter quiz in tomorrow's class if more people will be, showing up in tomorrow's class. Cool then. Any questions? Anything which anyone wants to bring up? Raj, Vishant, Meghna, any questions from your side? Cool then. Let's meet in tomorrow's class where we'll start with tuple and then set. Thank you all. Thank you for dialing in. Have a nice day ahead.